Hi, today I'm going to show you what a 100 to 120 performance looks like in the Duolingo English test. It's not about hard words, it's just about accuracy and clear structure. So let's just make it simple and easy, okay? Let's get started. Okay, let's just choose some simple words to make it. If you're not sure about one word, just choose no. Okay, keep it simple. Just choose some easy words, okay? Okay, it's about to understand the context. Have you checked the system's what for any unusual activity? I think it's log. I can't believe some people would pay the full what price for the suit. Retail price. You need to translate each word just to understand the meaning of the sentence. And actually you can learn and do practice on my website about the fill in the blanks trainer. Despite being in the typical what library, the group of students were, I think it's loud, so here it's quiet. Okay, find the meaning. A sudden downpour turned the dust what into a river of mud. I think it's a street. What depicting the process of a photo can be found of the book. It's about a book, so it's about the picture of the book, right? It's a illustration. Okay, but let's keep it simple, okay? We just need a 100 to 120. The casserole is sound and has managed to survive. I think it's about structure, right? Structure. But structure. But here we can see maybe structure room. After observing the situation, we ate safe to proceed. So it's about after we see the situation, we think, right? We think. So we deemed, right? Deemed. The what of the full moon, the brightness of the full moon, okay? Just from the full moon, we know it's about the bright. Okay, so okay, let's not answer every question. Just keep the score between 100 and 120. Make sure that you have met all the what before enrolling in the advanced film students class. It's okay we don't know some of the word. It looks very long. Preference, maybe. No. Okay, mix the language.
My artistic journey began when I was young.
Okay, the first time we write as much as we can. My artistic journey began when I was young. So here, began, it's the past tense. That's a detail we need to notice.
My artistic journey began when I was young.
Began, right? So this is kind of a detail that could make you lose some points. You need to know it's began, not begin. It's past tense. I was young. Okay,
My artistic journey began when I was young.
Okay.
After a crop is harvested, its nutrients are returned to the soil.
after crop is harvested, something, huh? It's nutrients like return to the soil. We need to know the tense.
After a crop is harvested, its nutrients are returned to the soil.
Okay, after a crop is harvested, its nutrients. So these small details are very important. A crop, its nutrients are returned.
After a crop is harvested, its nutrients are returned to the soil.
Okay, harvested, nutrients are returned. These small details is very important here. Okay, like I said before, we can always find the clues and answers from the title or the first sentence. An unpleasantly cold room. It's about a room. The temperature in this room is nearly unbearable. Even the mid of summer, right? Even in the middle of the summer, it's abnormally in here. It's about cold, right? So it's chilly in here. I can't concentrate when my fingers and toes feel like it's cold, so it's freeze right out. It's freeze right off. Okay.
Despite graduating years ago, he still has access to his university email account.
Despite graduating years ago, he still
Despite graduating years ago, he still has access to his university email account.
has access to his university email account.
Despite graduating years ago, he still has access to his university email account.
Okay, so for those who need a score over 100, this listen and type is very important because this is an adaptive system. If you lose too much details, it will make your score low.
I expected green lawns and quiet streets in the suburbs.
I expect green lawns and quiet streets in the suburbs. Okay, so it's like green lawns and streets.
I expected green lawns and quiet streets in the suburbs.
Okay, so here's another detail. I don't know if you found it. It's not expect, it's expected, right? I expected green lawns and quiet streets in the suburbs.
They liked swimming.
They like swimming. They like swimming. Okay, you see, this sentence is simple and easy, right? So especially when you are facing some easy questions, just try to make them correctly, okay? Answer them correctly.
They liked swimming.
Because if you answer some easy questions wrong, the system will put you to an even lower score, like under maybe 80, right? So now we need over 100 to 120. So just don't make mistakes on these simple questions.
They liked swimming.
Okay, they like swimming. Okay, so always look for some clues from the title and the first sentence. A problematic resume. While you could have been a viable candidate, you lacked the prerequisite trait. Okay, so I think this word was the one in the blanks, fill in the blanks, right? So you see the first word, we found answer here, right? That's the key strategy. You can always find some answers, clues from title, resume. It's somewhat overblown, so we strongly, highly recommend that you dial back the what statements, grand statements. Okay, just skip it. On top of that, your references are too illusionary, maybe, right? Okay, we don't need to answer these difficult words. Just make sure every simple words are correct. Okay. Grand statements. Okay, just leave it if we don't know. It's okay. We don't need to be perfect.
The friends shared similar tastes in music.
The friends share similar taste in music.
The friends shared similar tastes in music.
Okay, we see the friends S and the share similar, maybe tastes, not taste. Okay, let's check again. Check the details.
The friends shared similar tastes in music.
Tastes, right? It's tastes. Okay, so if you're missing these kind of details, it will make your score, you will lose point.
Engines add a great deal of weight to the vehicles they power.
Engines, what to the vehicle? They power, right? They power.
Engines add a great deal of weight to the vehicles they power.
Had a great deal of weight.
Engines add a great deal of weight to the vehicles they power.
Okay, engines had a great deal of weight to the vehicles they power.
Some researchers believe that the unconscious mind is the source of creative inspiration.
Some researchers believe the mind.
Some researchers believe that the unconscious mind is the source of creative inspiration.
Okay, so unconscious mind are the source of creative and inspiration, right? So there are so many difficult words here. Okay, to keep our score within the range between 100 and 120, let's just skip it. Okay.
The scientists discussed the new theory at a conference.
The scientists discussed the what theory at the conference, right? At the conference, like the meeting.
The scientists discussed the new theory at a conference.
Yes, theory at conference and the conference. So here we can see some details. The scientists discussed the new theory at the conference. Okay, so these details are very important. If you want to improve your score in this kind of question type, you can also practice on my website, jeenglish.com. Okay, there are the trainer for this part.
The scientists discussed the new theory at a conference.
Okay, I think it's correct. Okay, the perfect host. Hosts people at home. He bends over backwards to ensure that they are taken care of in her view, her, right, or her room, her view. The comfort and the relaxation of her guest is of the utmost importance. She emphasizes their desires and designs. It's about room, right? Design, not desire. Designs and what noticeably have to provide them with everything, and would noticeably. Okay. Interactive reading. Social psychology is a fascinating field of study that investigates how individuals feel, behave. It's a verb. Think, feel, behave. When influenced by the impact of others. One vital area of focus in social psychology is group behavior, which examines how group dynamics can transform the action, can shape and transform. So it's about accuracy, right? It's not about difficult words. Understanding group behavior enables them to better collective decision making, to better collective decision making, cooperation, and other essential aspects of human interaction, to better comprehend. Okay, so when doing this question, the sentence before the blank and after blank is very important. Understanding group behavior enables us to better comprehend collective decision-making, cooperation, and other essential aspects of human interaction in various social settings. For example, social facilitation highlights the potential impact. So this example is about social facilitation, right? So this sentence must be something about social facilitation. So several key principles under group behavior, including social facilitation. So here, you see, just by recognizing the key words, social facilitation, I know it's this answer. Social facilitation, right? You don't need to know every word, okay? Just know the keyword. What does the study of group behavior exam? Exam is about a keyword, exam. So group behavior examines how, here, examine, not exam. Examine how group dynamics can shape and transform the action and decision of individuals. Okay, just highlight the right answer. What is a negative consequence of group thinking? So it's about the negative consequence. We need to find the keyword, negative. Others might perform worse. Group polarization occurs when individuals with similar opinion become more extreme in their views after studying their. So this is about negative, right? Others may perform worse. So this is about negative things, worse. So the answer is when group polarization occurs. So if we're not sure, we just choose the whole sentence, okay? It's not going to be wrong. The central roles attitude change. Social psychology investigates how individuals think, feel, and behave when influenced by others, particularly through exploring group behavior. Yeah, this is the idea, right? Here, social is about something. The voice, it is important to engage. It is essential to draw that attention is not solely educational. So this is only this one is relevant. The title, the study of group behavior, social psychology. Yeah, this is exactly the content about the passage. Okay, submit. Okay, interactive listening.
You and your friend are both first-year students and have recently learned about your college's study abroad opportunities for the coming years. The two of you sit down to discuss where you might want to study abroad and what factors you should consider when making a decision.
Okay, it's a first-year student, right? I'm a first-year student. What year college? What new information did you find about studying abroad? Okay, if you are not sure, you can listen again, but don't waste too much time here.
You and your friend are both first-year students and have recently learned about your college's study abroad opportunities for the coming years. The two of you sit down to discuss where you might want to study abroad and what factors you should consider when making a decision.
Studying abroad, right? What are you planning to talk to? Who? I will be talking to who?
You and your friend are both first-year students and have recently learned about your college's study abroad opportunities for the coming years. The two of you sit down to discuss where you might want to study abroad and what factors you should consider when making a decision.
Okay, again.
You and your friend are both first-year students and have recently learned about your college's study abroad opportunities for the coming years. The two of you sit down to discuss where you might want to study abroad and what factors you should consider when making a decision.
Oh, so just to the friend, right? To my friend. And we talk about where to go and the factors, right? The factors about it. Okay, don't waste too much time here. Only 5 minutes left. Don't need to be perfect.
So, have you given any thought to studying abroad in the future?
Have you given? Okay. So, that's interesting. They are both popular, not they. I've always dreamed of traveling in different countries, a better new culture. How about you? Have you? Yeah, me too. Have you? Yeah, I've always traveling. Yeah, me too. Have you? There are so many options though. Do you have any programs in mind? I think this one. Have you? I have. Yeah.
I'm mostly focused on finding a strong academic program that aligns with my career goals. But I do want to improve my language skills too.
Language skills. Okay. I took in high school and I would love to try them. Are there any specific places you're considering? Yeah, it's about language, right? Language. And yeah, I think this one.
I've been looking into a few countries with strong business programs. However, the cost of studying abroad is another factor to consider.
Okay, so conscious, yeah. Options, that's a good point. Love it, but I know it was pretty expensive. Maybe this one?
It's definitely something to think about. Maybe we should make a list of our priorities and what we want to get out of our study abroad experience.
Okay, priorities. That's awesome, no? Also consider attended bilingual high school. That sounds like a great plan. We can take into account the culture aspects, the language opportunities. Yeah, this one.
And once we've got a list, we can see if there's a destination that meets our preferences.
Yeah, I think that's a better approach. I really appreciate the advice. Let's explore opportunity together. No, it's not about a job, right? Maybe we should also attend a study abroad information session. Okay. Okay, so it's complete, but we still have time. So let's just try to remember some information to write the summary in the next part. So we talk about studying abroad, right? So, and we discuss the aspect like language, culture, language, and financial, and we can see if there's that doesn't meet our preference. Go to the information session, right? Okay. So I discussed about studying abroad with my friend, and we talked about the factors like such as culture and languages and the financial conditions, and we decided to attend an information session. Okay, so that's it. 3 clear structured sentences to summarize the whole conversation. Okay, so writing part, writing. Okay. The photo depicts a spaceship which is carried by a ship on the lake. The spaceship has white color. In the background, there are some trees and houses. Okay, that's it. We don't need to use some hard words, but the structure should be very clear, right? The main topic, the details, and the background, and try to make sure you can finish all these things within 1 minute. That's the key to get a score over 100. Write about the time you first used the computer. What kind of computer was it? So it's about personal experience, right? What were you using for? Include specific details in your response. Okay. I like to write about the first time I used a computer, which was a good memory to me. Okay, so I can still remember that it was a very big and heavy desktop computer. And what did I do? And I tried to learn how to type on the computer. And because the computer was very old, there wasn't many functions and apps. So what I could do was just typing some words. I think the experience was really enjoyable because, and that's overall, okay, overall that experience was meaningful to me because it brought me the excitement of exploring new technology. Okay, so now I didn't use some hard words, but I gave a clear structure, right? The topic sentence and what happened, and then some details, and I can also give some example, like so I could do just typing some words. For example, I tried to type some poems on the screen. Okay, example and some comment and the conclusion. Okay, so in now I'm just showing example, but in the real test, just don't waste the time. Try to write as much as you can. Okay, give a long answer, but with clear structure. Structure matters more than the hard words. Okay, so if you want to practice the structure and learn the templates about different kinds of topics, you can still learn the practice on my website, jenglish.com. There is a topic writing trainer. You can learn everything about the template structure, and you can also see some example answers for each different kinds of questions. Okay, follow-up question. Discuss any fears or uncertainties you had when you first used a computer. When I used the computer first time, I was unsure about how to open a software. So how did you overcome? So I just tried by myself and looked for some instructions from some books about operating a computer. These feelings and continue to learn to use the computer. In this process, I became very confident in using a computer. Okay, so just don't be off the topic, just answer the questions and give some details examples, and again try to write as much as possible in the real test. Okay, speaking. Okay, photo. Okay, so give a clear structure from the person, details, background, and your comments, and you can also give some predictions like that. The photo shows an old man who is playing the guitar. We can see he is wearing a very cool black hat with maybe a skeleton or the sign of skeleton or pirate on the hat. And he has long brown hair, and he is also wearing a fake red nose. And he is also playing music. We can see he is wearing a white shirt, a black waistcoat, and in his mouth there's another like musical instrument, and he's holding a guitar, and he looks very professional, right? So maybe he is playing some beautiful music to people around. And on his right hand I can see something like an egg. It's pink. I don't know what it is. And in the background there is a wall, but the wall is like painted with some special patterns or pictures. The whole picture looks very cool. Okay, in the real test, just try to talk as much as you can. Discuss the importance of decorations in your home. What benefits do you see in investing in decorations? Are there any downsides and why? Benefits do you see? It's about decorations. Okay, I think decorations is very important in my home because it makes the room feels comfortable for people to live in, right? For example, if we decorate the room with some green plants or some beautiful pictures, we can have a good mood, especially when we feel tired. These green things or some beautiful arts can cheer us up, make us feel better. And there are also some downsides because sometimes if there are too many decorations, could make the room very crowded, right? Because especially when the room is not very big, if we put too many decorations in the room, it will occupy a lot of space. So sometimes we may find it's inconvenient. But overall, I prefer to use some decorations to make the room better. For example, last week I just bought some pot flowers and put it in at the balcony, and I think it makes the environment really good. So I love it. Decorations are definitely important for my home. Okay, it's clear structure, example, and explanation. And prepare to the conversation. So in this part, interactive speaking, we just give 3 sentences. Okay, our opinion and explanation and example.
I'd like to ask you a few questions about changing habits. Describe something you do every morning.
Every morning, I just do something very important and healthy. It's eating breakfast because it provides the energy. For example, every morning I just eat some bread or drink some milk sometimes for breakfast.
Interesting. I have another question. How do you think people can make positive changes to their habits?
Well, I think people can make some positive changes to their habits by doing some small things because small things are easier to start and to stick with. For example, if they want to learn English, they can just watch some cartoons or English videos on the YouTube for like maybe 10 minutes every day. That works.
Interesting. Let me ask you another question. How could changing habits influence a person's life goals?
Well, I think changing habits has a great impact on a person's life goals because the habits can help us keep moving forward to our goals day by day. For example, if we want to master English, if we want to pass the DET, we need to do the right things every day to make it a habit.
Thanks for talking about changing habits with me. Now I'd like to change topics and ask you a few questions about completing projects. Describe a goal you have for next year.
A goal for me for next year is to help more students to get their target score in the Duolingo English test. I think this is very meaningful because it gives some value to the society, to the world. For example, I think I can just create more videos and share more useful strategies and tips.
Okay, let me ask you another question. Explain how someone should prioritize tasks when working on long-term projects.
Okay, when working on some long-term projects, we need always to prioritize some kind of tasks. Because if we don't have a clear prioritized things, we might waste the time. So I think planning is very important. For example, we can always make a good plan before we do anything. So that's the key.
Okay, I've got a different question. Explain how to prepare for unexpected challenges when completing a project.
Okay, I think we need to make a good choice when we face some unexpected challenges in doing a project. So we need to analyze the situation and find all the factors involved. For example, when we face some difficulties in preparing for the DET, we need to analyze our weakness and how to improve them.
Thanks for talking about completing projects with me. Have a nice day.
Okay, I just showed some clear structure. Okay, this is the last part. Many people dream of climbing a mountain. What do you think these people are hoping to find or experience? Include the specific details. Okay, so I think this is about explanation. Let me give a clear structure. Okay, no hard words. I think for many people, climbing a mountain is very important because this is a good opportunity for them to explore nature and improve their confidence. First, one benefit of climbing a mountain is to get enjoy the nature. Another benefit of climbing a mountain is to learn some climbing skills and challenge ourselves. For example, give an example. For example, last year I climbed a small mountain in the neighborhood, and I had a great experience which was meaningful to me. So overall, people can benefit a lot from the activity of climbing a mountain. Okay, that's it. So I'm giving you a clear structure, right? The topic sentence, my opinion and the reason, and the first benefit, and the second benefit, and the example, and the conclusion overall. Okay, so you can just learn the structure and template on my website, and you can just practice yourself by writing them by yourself. Okay, So, but in the you can see there's still time, right? I'm just showing you the clicker structure. In the real test, just try to write as much as you can. But remember, the structure is more important than using some hard words, okay? Okay, last part. What place do you feel most connected to? Okay, you have some 3 minutes to speak. Just try to use the whole 3 minutes, okay? But here I just show you a simple example. What place do you feel most connected to? Why is the place important to you? What are some of your favorite memories of this place? Okay, the place that I feel most connected to is a beach, which is not far from my my house. This place is so important because I had many great memories with my friends and families there. And for example, just during the summer holiday, we just spent a whole day at the beach, and we have some barbecues, and we also swim the sea and making sand castles, and we do lots of interesting activities. And for example, last year I went to the beach with my family, and we just packed some food, like some bread and some sausage and fruit, and we just also brought a pop-up, and because the sunlight was so strong, and so we just stayed in the pop-up and had a picnic. It was really enjoyable. After that, we just swim the sea, and we also see lots of interesting sea creatures like fish or some even small octopus. Okay, so that's why that the memory was so special and meaningful to me. Okay, so this is a short example. In the real test, just keep talking, okay? Use the full 3 minutes. Give a clear structure, example, explanation. Let's just submit and see the score range. Okay, so you see, actually, it's beyond our target, right? We were supposed to keep the score under 100 and 120, but maybe the accuracy, right? We make it with our mistake. The mistakes were very little, right? So and also the structure is very clear. So you can see even I didn't use any hard words, right? From the beginning to the end, the score is still over 120. So yeah, so if you want to score just between 100 and 120, you can just use all the strategies I used today. Okay, so for more detailed guidance and practice, you can also visit my website and to do it by yourself. Because I always say the DET is not about what you know, it's about what you can do, what you can actually do in the real test. And what you can do comes from the practice, okay? So if you find my video and tips helpful, please don't forget to give thumbs up and subscribe my channel for more tips and strategies to help you get a ideal score in the DET. See you next one.